Let's see if we can get this camera focused. What's happening, folks? So I got a 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I'm kind of freelancing this video. It is really nothing. So leave now or forever be in the presence of my potential rants. So this car, this truck, this transportation device has oil leaks. It has four codes in regards to the O2 sensor heating circuits, which is just like, what the fuck? How does it have all 4 heating circuits bad? Knock sensor codes, and not including the undocumented repairs I did on this, where I replaced the PCM, and I wound up replacing the valve body because of the solenoid or temperature issues, temperature sensor issues. They had an intermittent temperature fault, and MS solenoid, I think it's a multifunction solenoid. Long story, but either way, had erratic signals. Looking at the voltage would be normal. No, the temperature would be normal, the voltage would be erratic. So the temperature interpretation will be normal, the signal will be erratic, just like it's everywhere. But I replaced it, it worked fine. Replaced the computer, it worked, it cleared the intermittent code, and then I replaced the solenoid because there was a MS solenoid in the engine control module stored code. Replaced that, and that took care of all the codes. Car was gone for a couple weeks because it needed a shit ton of work. The car had head gaskets replaced, and the guy did a job. I mean, it works, but I'm the one who has to go over everybody else's stuff because my prices are too high. This is not the first time or the last time with this customer, so. And I keep taking them back, just like my relationships. It's another day. Nothing wrong with my relationship, honestly. I know my girlfriend watches these videos. Now, this car does have knock sensor codes. All right, and what I'm just gonna do. This is just not gonna be a complete repair video. I'm bitching. I'm on my mode there. Okay, man. Period. All day. The car has, like I said, a lot of codes. The head gasket replaced. I'm going to go in there and replace these knock sensors, and I need to do a visual inspection of everything while I'm in there, because just little things like the wiring for a temperature sensor here, you know, things like this. There's a wire that's going under the compressor and one wire going over the compressor for the temperature sensor up here. So it's like things like that that makes me concerned. So I'm going to go in there, redo what I see that's defective after I get everything back installed, and but we're going to take a visual at those knock sensors. It's only one bank that's causing some issues, but I'm going to replace both of them while I'm in there, and do a resistance test with the harness. And I did buy a new addition. I just didn't document it. This is like today, diagnosing those oxygen sensors. Was my first time using the probe device there. That was number 4. What do they call this thing? What's this called? My brain is just everywhere, man. The Power Probe 4. Yeah, I got it. So it's nice. It's got a light on there, and it's cool. So we'll use that in the future. I got off Amazon for the low expensive price of $200 and something. So and it was worth it. I like it. I don't know when I'm gonna use it, but I got it. And I got a bunch of other special tools off Amazon. This pandemic is making me spend money, seriously. But I like special tools, and I kind of see what women go through when they buy clothes and stuff. So I'm in the same boat. So I'm gonna tear into this. I'm gonna get the intake off. We're gonna look at the knock sensors, and if I find something, you know, I'll tag you along. But we're just gonna take a look at those knock sensors and see if, you know, I'm not perfect. And if you look at my videos, I don't like to talk about other mechanics because we do things the best of our abilities. Just like I screw up, or Riley screw up for the most part, because it's not me, it's their parts. But I have no personal accountability today. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull this off, look at it, see what's going on, and you know, I guess if people in the comment section want to joke and talk shit about the guy, which I'm totally against and for at the same time, which totally contradicts myself, I'm for that. I'm cool with that. So let's take a look at those knock sensors. I'm not going to worry about data because I looked at all that crap. One of them wasn't going up to 1 volt like it's supposed to, so it could be connection problems. But I don't think there's any wiring issues from the main harness on back. There's probably some sub harness problems if there is a sub harness there. From the wiring diagram, it looks like there's one. But we're gonna see. We're gonna do a visual inspection when we pull all this stuff off. So who gives a shit about how to do it? Let's just look into it. But knowing me, I totally contradict myself. Yeah. Here's the wiring I was referring to. See how this wire here goes over the compressor, and this other either return wire or whatever is underneath, and it's around it. So those are things I'm talking about. I just need to go back over and make sure it's fine, because again, I mean, it still doesn't make any sense that all the oxygen sensors are having heating circuit issues. However, you know, anything could happen. You know, the car was obviously neglected for a while. Not obviously, but I will tell you, just from dealing with the car, it hasn't had its regular service, and so I can imagine just one code coming up, and then, you know, you have a snowball effect of a plethora of issues arising as a result. So who knows? Who knows? So, but that's what I'm referring to. And I'm going to continue to tear onto it. I just got the air box off, used the 8mm. Well, after I started getting the coils and everything out, notice there should be a map sensor here. It's loose. The housing's cracked, so I got to be very careful about removing this. It was that, and this bolt for the intake in the back was already, it was loose. Joke, it's not, I don't know why it's not going there. I think the bolt probably done broke off, so it might be broken into the intake manifold. I'll see that when I pull it out. Alright, I got to remove the fuel rail, and these are the two regular original fasteners that was in there. On the bank 2 side, here's what's currently in there. One of these. And that one I haven't removed yet, but this one was loose. So I'm pretty sure there was some cross threading going on here. There's a reason why either he got overwhelmed, had a lot of bolts or fasteners, and didn't put them back in the appropriate area. I'm going to remove the nuts here from the strut mount here, and it's just missing one right on this side. So I only pulled out 3 instead of 4 to get the strut bar off. So I got the compressor removed, the strut bar removed. I got all the, what look like 1, 2, about 5, minus the one that was loose back there. I got those bolts from the intake removed. I think I should be able to pull it straight on out now. Breather. Alright, we got the intake off. So I got the light on. So here are our knock sensors here. And everything seems fine. Okay, here's our problem right here. Here we go. Look at that right there. Here's our problem. Got broken wires. So we should be fine getting knot sensor. It comes with the wire, so we'll be fine getting a new knock sensor. This should be bank 1 knock sensor, from what I understand. The closest spark plug is over here. So I'm assuming this is going to be bank 1. This is gas. This is from me when I was disconnecting the injector. So what happened, this sharp edge here on the block is just rubbed against the insulator over time, and it just eventually broke the wire once it got through the insulation. And where's the exposed portion? Can't see it that well from back here, but you know, even if the insulation is broken off, you know, that wire could be getting a poor frequency, it get all types of interruptions, and it's not, even though it could be generating the frequency, the that noise could be, there could be noise in the wire there because there's no noise reduction. So that's what I'm assuming there, but I couldn't see it. I'll pull off when I get it, when I get the new one, get a better inspection of it. But that's obvious, it's broken. I'm gonna go ahead and change both of them while I'm in here. Again, these cylinder heads were replaced. You know, they worked. While I got it off, I'm just gonna do an inspection of everything else, make sure there's nothing else out of place. You know, ground straps, etc. Alright, cool. Go under this ground cable. Camera ain't want to sit right. So one of these is going to be a 10 millimeter, and this other one here is going to be a 13. So I'm going to pull these off, inspect these. Put that there. Don't have my new ones on the way over here yet. I should have just went ahead and have them delivered. Just focusing on recording and all that type of crap, so I'm gonna have to go by O'Reilly's. They ordered them yesterday for me, but I should have had them sent up here. I'll put these bolts back right. Now I'm just gonna look at these, make sure they go in one spot only, because I don't want to screw this up. Hopefully the bolts are different sizes for bank 1 and bank 2. So I looked at the firing order. This is bank 1, and the sensor was hooked up appropriately. However, I was incorrect in what I thought was the defective sensor. This actually is fine. It's actually the bank 2 sensor here, because I had to go back and look at my scan data because I took a picture or save the data. Now this is the one on bank 2 that's defective. So despite it looking superficially unappealing, this is not the one that's broken. It's actually the one that looks okay. So, but I do have the sensors. I'm gonna go pick those up at O'Reilly's and get my little area down here cleaned up pretty well and get everything back installed. And again, I didn't bother to look at the data. I mean, I didn't want to make the video long and drawn out, but I will say that this car does have some lagging power issues, and what the knock sensors do is retard the timing. So once it detects knock, it pulls back timing. And the interesting thing about this particular car is it's just like long-term, short-term fuel trim. Well, it's like like similar. But what happens when it detects certain conditions of pre-detonation, it retards the timing and it saves that on the table. So it does have the mean of acclimating to its running conditions to optimize its performance based on the vehicle's logic. So I got my new part here from O'Reilly's. Here's the new knock sensors. This is a standard product. Came in the red box. The only thing different is it came with a bracket. It did come with its own bolts, which is fine. I did clean the surfaces off, the mating surfaces, cleaned up just some of the area here to get some of that rust chunks out of there. Now, the bolt heads are different. One's a 10 millimeter, one's a 13. And the good thing is this come with the indication. You know, you're putting it on left bank. So the 13 millimeter here is going on the left bank. And like I said, I made sure, looking at the wiring diagram, and the 13 was at the appropriate bank. So I'm going to put that back where it belongs. And I'm going to get everything buttoned back up. And now, I don't know where the bracket's supposed to go. So I'm likely, let me pull this back off, this is not right. So I'm likely not going to reuse the bracket. I'm not sure where it will reside. And being that the other one didn't have one on there, I don't think it's going to be that important. I mean, as long as it's, I think, well, I don't think, because it just doesn't make any sense where this would go because of the placement of how it was originally. I'm gonna get these back. Gotta worry about that vibrating itself loose. If I could figure out where this gosh darn thing will go, I think it might have went on the rear stud here. That's what it only makes sense. Oh, I got that covered up. It only makes sense for it to reside back here on this further bolt or fastener, and it'll link up to this like so. But I need to find out why that bolt don't want to go back in there, that fastener. So this it only makes sense for it to go there. So I'm gonna leave that right there, and I'm gonna check on that fastener as to why it didn't want to cooperate. This is the one here. So here's my answer. It is broken. See how long this one is. That one is broken off of there. I'm hoping that maybe something happened while it was out. So I'm gonna pull this joker out, and maybe, I don't even think this is gonna work. Yeah, let me use two hands. All right, everything's back installed. What I'd wind up doing with this broken stud that was in the back, I relocated a normal one and located it in the back over there. And what I did was I just took a long threaded 10 millimeter screw, cut it in half with the cutoff wheel, and made it into a stud, and it works just fine. So it works just like normal, except for it's just a little shorter. So it's just, that's all, just a little smaller than all the other ones. But I think it'll work out just fine. Everything's torqued down, all the bolts are working like it's supposed to. So that's the main thing here. Like I said, I don't blame people. You know, if mistakes happen. I don't know how you would handle this, or if you'll talk shit about the guy who previously worked on it, and you know, seeing one thing after another. But you know, things happen. So I know as I say that as I do have a video on my archive talking about can you dig it? You know, there's some other stuff leaking. Luckily, I'm glad I caught it, but it's unfortunate that I caught it, because that's another $200+ to replace the parts on this truck, and the list continues. I mean, this truck needs a lot of work, and unfortunately, you know, things happen. You know, I don't think the knock sensor was his fault. I think it's just the wear and tear, and unfortunately, it was just in a bad spot. Things happen. The radiator here took a crap, and it's a fragile piece of equipment. They're plastic, and I'm pretty sure all you mechanics know how everyone feels about plastic. I'm indifferent to it, but I guess I'm more liberal leaning, I guess, when it comes to plastic. It is, you know it's hot when your phone just like doesn't like you. It really don't. But plastic, you know, they're gonna break. It's stupid. You know, they're not like the old copper radiators that used to last for like 38,000 years, or the life of the car. So it is what it is. I'm going to finish this up. I mean, everything went pretty smooth. If you ever have to get down to the knock sensors, it's a 2-hour job. You take your time doing this, not that bad. I mean, the hardest thing was just taking those EGR bolts off in the back. I mean, everything was accessible with the driver, wherever it is. It was a 10 millimeter, 15, and I think that's it. Some Barrett's extensions and an 8 millimeter. That's it. Take your time. Oh yeah, and a quick connect tool. Not that bad. But I don't want to make this video long and drawn out. I think we're just repairing the code. Gosh, just another day in the garage. That's what it is. But other than that, this is fixed. If anything happens, if I need to go a little bit more in depth, I'll definitely update. But until then, this was a simple fix. The knock sensors was a problem. The wires were broken. And it could potentially get interference from the motor, like the ground out, because they're insulated. So this does have noise reduction abilities, I'm sure. Call me crazy, but if it generates the AC signal, yeah, I think that's it right there. Yeah, I think that's it right there. But either way, hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, have that reassurance of my work, and see you on the next one.